The ground is frozen. Not the dramatic glittering ice of January. This is the deceptive freeze of early March. It looks soft. It looks thawed. You push a shovel into it and the earth says, no. That's the first lie of the season. The garden looks dead. Quiet. Peaceful even. It's a trap. You're looking at the most important month of your entire growing year, and you're being tricked into thinking it's downtime. That quiet is a countdown. The clock started ticking weeks ago. Daylight is stretching. The sun has heat in it again. And that dormant soil, that sleeping system, is about to wake up with or without you. Your job is to be the alarm clock, because if you wait for the weather to feel like gardening weather, you've already lost. You've surrendered the single greatest advantage you have: time. The difference between a garden that feeds you and a garden that frustrates you isn't magic. It's math. It's the compound interest of preparation. Every day of growth you secure in March is a week of abundance you claim in August. Every crop you establish in the cold is a victory over the grocery store ledger in December. This isn't about planting, not yet. This is about activation. You are not a gardener waiting for spring. You are a system manager. And your system is cold, dormant, and running behind schedule. Let's wake it up. The first target is the soil itself. That cold, quiet earth isn't just dirt. It's a biological engine. And right now, the engine is off. Microbial life is hibernating. Nutrients are locked up. Roots you plant into this will just sit there shivering, waiting for a signal to move. Your signal is heat, not air temperature. Soil temperature, get a thermometer. Jam it into the bed. If it reads a consistent 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you have a green light. That's the threshold. Below that, life is asleep. Above that, it starts to stir. Your goal is to push it over that line. How? You steal the sun's work. Clear plastic laid over a prepared bed is a solar trap. It lets light in and doesn't let the feeble warmth out. It's not glamorous. It looks like you're wrapping leftovers. But under that plastic, the soil temperature can climb 10, 15 degrees above the air. You are creating a tiny, privileged microclimate. While your neighbor's garden is still sleeping, yours is preheating. At the same time, you feed the engine. Finished compost, aged manure. This isn't fertilizer in the chemical sense. This is breakfast for the billions of bacteria and fungi you need to hire. You spread it on the warmed soil. You don't till it in deeply. Tilling wet soil destroys its structure, turns it into concrete. You gently incorporate it. You're setting the table, not blowing up the kitchen. This is the core of the March reframe. You are not working with dirt. You are managing a living workforce. Warmth wakes them. Food fuels them. And a warmed, fed soil does something miraculous for the seeds you will plant. It welcomes them. A seed in cold, dead soil just rots. The same seed in soil that's even 5 degrees warmer sends out a radical, a root, with purpose. That head start is everything. It's the difference between a pea plant that's struggling when the aphids arrive and a pea plant that's already sturdy, already climbing, already too tough to be an easy meal. You are building resilience from the ground up, literally. The garden looks quiet. It looks empty. Good. That's your canvas. That quiet is your strategic silence before the campaign begins. The engine is cold. Let's get it started. The engine is running, soil is warming, life is stirring. Good. Now we stop managing the system and start using it. We put it to work. Because that quiet garden isn't a museum. It's a factory floor. And the first shift starts now, in the cold. This is where most people freeze up. They see frost on the grass and think the garden is closed. They are wrong. They are leaving food on the table. Literally. Your first real harvest of the year isn't planted in May. It's planted right now, into that soil you just woke up. These are the cold-tolerant foundation crops. They don't just survive the chill, they thrive in it. They are your advanced team. Peas, spinach, arugula, radishes, carrots, onions, kale, cabbage. Write that list down. These are your March soldiers. You direct sow the seeds, peas, spinach, radishes, carrots, right into that prepared 40-degree ground. You transplant the seedlings, onions, kale, cabbage, broccoli, if you started them indoors weeks ago. If you didn't, that's a lesson for next year. This year, you buy the starts. Get them hardened off. Get them in the ground. The goal is not to coddle them. The goal is to establish them. Their roots will grow slowly, steadily, in the cool soil. They are building the infrastructure for your entire garden. Here's the secret no one talks about. These early plants aren't just producing early food, though that spinach in your bowl in April tastes like victory. They are doing the hard labor for the plants that come later. Their roots are breaking up the soil, creating pathways for water and air. They are exuding sugars that feed the microbial workforce you just activated. They are, quite literally, setting the table for the tomatoes and peppers that will follow. You are building soil fertility with living roots, not just bags of compost. Now, use your insurance. Cloches, row cover fabric. These aren't greenhouses for delicate flowers. They are armor for your investment. A sudden hard freeze? The fabric takes the hit. A cold, windy night? The cloche creates a still pocket of air. You use them as a buffer, not as an excuse to wait. The mindset shift is critical. You are not waiting for safe conditions. You are creating them. And you map this physically. Look at the bed where you plant peas. Know that by early June, those peas will be finished. That bed will be empty. That space is already spoken for. It is the future home of your bush beans. You are not planning a crop. You are scheduling a relay race. The pea harvest hands the baton to the bean planting. There is no downtime. There is only transition. This is how you outrun the calendar. This is the beginning of real control. You are no longer just waking up the biological engine. You are putting it in gear and giving it a destination. Food. Early, steady, reliable food. While everyone else is staring at seed packets, you are harvesting radishes. That changes everything. The psychological weight of buying groceries lifts a little. The system proves it works. You stop hoping for a garden. You start running one. But this is just the first layer. You have this engine running, these first crops in the ground. Now you have to ask the dangerous question. What happens after this? If you don't have an answer, you get the summer scramble. That panicked, overcrowded mess where everything ripens at once, then nothing. Where you have 10 pounds of zucchini and no lettuce. That scramble is a failure of March. It means you only thought one step ahead. We are going to think 4 seasons ahead, right now. So take that map. Your garden is not a collection of plants. It is a geography of time. Assign beds to plant families. Brassicas here, solanums there, legumes over here. This is crop rotation. It's not just good practice. It's pest and disease avoidance. It's soil management. It's non-negotiable. Then, chart the time. Write it down. Peas here, harvest by June 1st. Bush beans go in June 5th. Spinach here, harvested through May, followed by basil transplants in early June. This is your succession. Plan. It turns empty space into a capital offense. And indoors, under lights, you start the long season investments. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. These are your summer heavyweights. They need time. March is that time. You are building their strength now in a controlled environment, so when they hit the warm soil in May, they explode. They are not starting from zero. They are starting from a head start you gave them. This is the blueprint phase. It feels abstract. It is not. This diagram, this calendar, is the single biggest factor between a garden that feeds you for a month and a garden that feeds you for a year. It prevents the gaps. It ensures the transitions. It turns chaos into a production schedule. You are no longer a gardener. You are a logistics coordinator for your own food supply. The quiet of March is your last chance to do this thinking. Once the growth starts, the thinking stops. The doing takes over. So do your thinking now. Now we go deeper, beyond the season. You have the engine running. You have the production schedule. Good. That's this year's security. But true independence isn't about managing a single season. It's about breaking the season itself. It's about planting things that outlive the frost, that feed you when the garden is sleeping under snow. This is the long game. This is where you stop being a farmer and start being a forester of your own food. Perennials. The word sounds decorative. It is not. It is the closest thing to a cheat code in this entire system. You plant it once. It feeds you for years, decades, a lifetime. In March, the soil is workable and the plants are dormant. It's transplant time. Bare root fruit trees, berry bushes, rhubarb crowns, asparagus. You put these in the ground now with deliberate care, and you are making an investment that compounds every single year. The first harvest might be small, the second bigger. The 10th? It's a yield that would cost a fortune at a store. You are not planting a crop. You are installing a food-producing asset. It requires patience. It pays in permanence. Then, the storage crops. These are your winter life insurance. Potatoes, winter squash, drying beans. You start these now, indoors or directly in the warmed soil. You are not growing for immediate eating. You are growing for the larder, for the dark months. You select varieties specifically for this. Thick-skinned squash that sits on a shelf for months, potatoes that keep, beans that dry on the vine. This is larder gardening. Every seed you plant has a future destination, a jar, a root cellar, a shelf. This changes the math entirely. The goal is no longer just a summer harvest. The goal is to push that harvest through the entire winter. You integrate these into your blueprint. That sunny corner becomes the permanent home for the raspberry patch. That back bed is dedicated to potatoes this year, and to a crop rotation that rebuilds the soil after them next year. You are thinking in layers of time, the annuals, the perennials, storage crops. They occupy the same space but in different dimensions, one in the season, one across years, one across the calendar into winter. This is system resilience. If the tomatoes fail, the berries are still producing. If a pest gets the greens, the potatoes are still underground, safe. You have redundancy. You have a backup plan that is already growing. This is how you sleep soundly. This is the final piece of the March command. You've activated the biology. You've deployed the first wave of production. You've drafted the battle plan for the summer. Now you dig the trenches for the decades-long campaign. You look at that quiet, dormant garden and you see not an empty stage, but a loaded system. Every action you took, spreading compost, laying plastic, sowing peas, charting successions, planting a tree, was a lever. And you pulled everyone. The compound interest of that work is already calculating itself. The quiet is an illusion. Under that surface, the engine is humming, roots are reaching, microbes are feasting, plans are unfolding. You didn't wait for spring, you built it. You are no longer a person hoping to grow food. You are the manager of a personal food production system. You don't react to the weather, you use it. You don't fear the frost date. You work around it, through it, ahead of it. The grocery store is no longer your primary supply line. It is your backup, your failure mode. That changes you. The anxiety of scarcity is replaced by the calm of strategy. The fear of empty shelves is replaced by the sight of a full cellar. That dormant March garden, that deceptive quiet, is now the most powerful sight you know. It is not empty. It is full of potential you have already scheduled, primed, and set in motion. You walk through it and you don't see dirt. You see time, converted into security. You see independence, growing quietly in the cold.